So the first and most immediate thing you can see about the Spark as opposed to a Phantom 3 is size. This is good old Phantom in its case. It's enormous. This is the Spark combo in its box that it comes in. Everything's in this box that you would expect for your drone. So when we unbox it, we've actually got more than one box. We get two boxes with this unit. In here we've got the case, just stick up there. They've got the holder for the actual drone itself, and the drone holder opens up with the drone in and a couple of spare propellers. Now you wouldn't always take this out. The idea is that this is what it comes in to save it. You're going to end up taking it out in this thing, as you would do with the Phantom. So with the Phantom you keep everything in this box. So that's your drone, your controller, batteries, in this case a car charger and a filter, propellers. Propellers aren't fixed to the drone as always. The only thing I don't have in here is the mains supply. And you're not going to carry the main supply around with you that often. So when you first open this little package for the Spark, once you remove the polystyrene or the packaging, first thing you'll find is the mains brick. Now that's not going to stay in this case. It doesn't with the Phantom, it wouldn't with this one. If you've seen my 40th vlog when I went away for a couple of days with Cuddles, I took away the charging blocks. I needed to charge my drone, but I took it in a separate bag. So if you noticed, I actually had a bag which is just full of chargers for the cameras, phones and the drones, or drone that I had at the time. What I forgot to do, as I said in that video, I forgot to actually take the laptop with me. So I have a separate bag for chargers if I'm going away, and if you was going out on holiday you would take this with you. You wouldn't need to put this back into this bag. This bag isn't really designed for carrying the power supply as well as the drone itself. So keep that. You have your propeller guards in here. Again, propeller guards aren't going to be used all the time, and I've got propeller guards as well for the Phantom 3. They aren't on the Phantom 3. They don't stay in the Phantom 3's box either because, again, they're enormous. I've never flown it indoors or close to anything that I would need to use the propeller guards for, but I have them should they be needed. So you take them out of the box. Got an OTG cable, which is virtually essential on any Spark if you've got one. And then you've got your controller. I'll get a little guard that goes over here. A friend of mine's got a 3D printer, might make one or just buy one. That will stay in there like that. From then on, the idea is that the drone will stay in the case with the controller and your batteries. So you either have the battery that's in the drone, and then you've got these little pockets in here for the spares. So when you go out, all you're taking out with you is your drone and your controller. Compare this to this, really, it's ridiculous, no-brainer, size-wise. If you're comparing the drone, you can see instantly the difference in size compared to that. So you can remove the propellers should you need to. If you want to store it without propellers, that's your choice. It doesn't have to have the props on it when you put it away. But the main thing is its size is so much smaller than that of the Phantom. Okay, so realistically the thing you need to consider is, would you go from something like an old Phantom 3 Advanced or Pro to a Spark, or would the Spark be an additional item? Now it depends on what you want to film and what your perspective is on it. If you've got the Phantom 3 Standard, then there's very little keeping you with the Standard. And unless you want to make the expensive jump, spend £1,100 on a Mavic Pro or £1,000 on a Mavic Air, I wouldn't know if you would go that far. So why even the comparison? Well, this, as you can see, as I said, its size, it's minute, it's small. The biggest thing this has over the Phantom is it's the newer technology. The Phantom's been around for quite a while. And the Phantom runs on the old DJI Go app. This runs on the same as all the other newer DJI products, runs on the DJI Go 4 app. Now the apps look very, very similar and they work very similar. Or do they? The thing you'll find with the Phantom 3 range, you have the flight modes in the app, things like intelligent flight, waypoints, all that sort of stuff. But this doesn't have any obstacle avoidance on it. And there's no active track. It has a decent camera. This camera is on a 3-axis gimbal and it will run at 2.7K. You can also adjust the frame rates up to 60 frames if you're filming in NTSC, and at 1080. It has a 12 megapixel still camera. The Pro has a 4K camera, so it films up into 4K. Would I use it? I haven't. I've only ever filmed in 1080. So if you're filming in 1080 and you're not really needing the 4K ability, the Spark is only 1080 at 30 frames per second. So this is for hobby and for YouTube videos. So this doesn't have active track. So although this will track, from using the camera I can do some points of interest, stuff like that, and I can do a follow me feature where it will follow the controller. The downside is it will only follow the controller if you have a GPS enabled device connected to it, such as a mobile phone. If you use an iPad like I do, the iPad is just a standard Wi-Fi iPad that doesn't have a GPS unit built into it. So therefore the follow me feature won't work. It does have advantages in other areas though. It has a longer flight time. The flight time on these batteries is about 21 minutes, something like that. Obviously over time, again, they get old, it's not going to last as long as it always used to. So that's again something that the Spark has, maybe an advantage on. The Spark, brand new, they last 16 minutes, but it's not going to be a major difference between what you're getting from this. The Phantoms have the advantage in their controller. The controller on the Phantom has one massive advantage in that it runs Wi-Fi itself. You don't need to use your Wi-Fi on your phone. So when you're using your phone or your iPad, you actually turn your Wi-Fi off and you run the Lightbridge system on the Advanced or Pros, and even for the Aspires, and even this controller is the same for the Phantom 4. The difference is on this, it's only a 2.4 gigahertz system. The one in the Spark is 2.4 and 5.8. So it's actually got a slightly better control system. But again, that's down to age. It's newer than this from the Phantom. And of course the other thing is just sheer size. The controller for the Spark is very similar to that of, well, it's the same controller for the Mavic Air, and it's very similar to the controller for the Mavic Pro. It's tiny. It's much, much smaller. Therefore much easier to carry around. This is a lot quieter. This is more unobtrusive. There's lots of videos on YouTube you can watch about this, and I'm not going to go into anything like the depth of the videos that they go into, but this is much, much quieter in its operation. Therefore, most people don't notice it, or if they do notice it, they think, oh, it's just a toy. It will film as well as the Phantom does. I can get as good a quality footage out of this, but people won't expect it to be a professional drone. They look at it and think, oh, it's only a little thing. The picture quality actually on this is the same, and that goes for all the Phantoms until you get to the 4 Pro, which has got a 20 megapixel camera. Everything else, the Mavic, Mavic Air, Phantom 3, Phantom 3 Advanced, Phantom 3 Pro have all got a 12 megapixel camera, including the Spark. The Spark does have an advantage over the Phantoms in that it will take 4K stills, which you can't do on the Phantoms, not on the Phantom 3s anyway. Now, as I said, unfortunately, the weather's not good enough for me today to take it out and fly it and go through the flight modes and differences, but there are a lot of new flight modes and a lot of things that you get on the Spark that you just can't get on the older Phantom. So the obstacle avoidance is a big one, and the active track is massive. The active track feature is absolutely game changer compared to an older Phantom. Would you replace the old Phantom 3 with a Spark? I will have to see. I'm going to try it over a few weeks, see how it goes, and see if it is something. Will I keep this, stick this in the drawer, stick it, well, it's massive, stick this somewhere aside while still using the Spark? I don't know. I think I will probably use the Spark a lot more because of its size. To be able to take your drone out in a shoulder bag like this which is all the stuff you need, 2 batteries and the drone. The drone will actually charge in your car through the back. There's a USB port on the back of it, and if you've got a car charger, which I have obviously for my phone and my sat nav, I can charge the drone whilst driving. So between locations I could charge the batteries on the drone in the car. There are car chargers available as well. In the front of this bag there also comes the charger. Again, this charger is something that would stay at home. That and the power block you wouldn't take out with you unless you're going away somewhere. And as I said before, I'd pack all my chargers and bits into a different bag or carrying device of some sort, simply because I've got so many bits to take with me. That's my first thoughts on it. As I said, it will be something that will be over the next few weeks. I will try a lot more of, and I will post more videos, more shots of, and show you what I think and what I believe it can and can't do. And whether or not is it something you would replace your Phantom 3 with something of this size. This, remember, is only around if you're buying one of these, they're probably about the £600 mark. The Phantom 3, you can still buy the Phantom 3 SE. It's actually dearer than buying a Spark, and you're losing out on quite a few features. The next jump is to the Mavic Air, which, as I said, is a fly mail combo. This is a combo pack, so all these prices relate to the combo with the controller. I wouldn't really want to buy this without the controller, to be honest. It's still cheaper than the Mavic Air, Mavic Pro and the Phantom 4 and all the others if you're going up. If you're professional filming or you're wanting to do very, very high quality cinematography that you're going to make money from, then maybe the Spark isn't what you need. If you're not going to make money and you haven't got a professional license and all of that, the Phantom 3 was always set out as sort of more of a beginner type drone, beginner to advanced, and the Spark is very much the same. One of the other things I haven't mentioned also, which I've yet to go into with the Spark, is the flight modes with gesture control. Now that's something, again, it might be useful. I think it is going to be quite handy occasionally to land in your palm and to control it with your palm and your face. But it's something that you definitely can't do with the other drones other than the Mavic Air. The new Mavic Air has a feature for it, but the Spark was the one that started it. There are other selfie drones that are a lot cheaper, but you're not buying this just as a selfie drone, you're buying this as a filming drone for filming and shooting. It's still not a toy, it is still for photography and for filming.
Okay, so in comparison, I haven't had a great deal of opportunity to test the two together as I wanted to. The weather's not been that good. Generally speaking, the Phantom is faster in its normal mode. That means to say that in normal mode, the Spark is very slow compared to the Phantom. Phantom has sort of one speed on the control, whereas the Spark is quite slow. The advantage of that, it does improve filming quality and you get a smoother image. In sport mode, the Spark is a lot quicker. So when you're using it in sport mode, the Spark is massively quicker and it plays more like a little toy drone. So it's great fun to fly. The image quality you'll see when we get them back and we view them. I'll make a little video of this place called Kersney Abbey and put that together as a vlog video. I'm going to have shots from both the drones to see how that comes out and see what they compare like. There are advantages to both drones. The height and the speed of the Phantom in normal use seems to be better. The Spark has a few more modes and it's nice and smooth to operate. I did find myself, however, putting the Spark into sport mode to get it back from wherever I'd gone to because it was taking too long. I was a bit impatient with it. So as I was flying back to my location, I'll stick it in sport mode just to get there a bit quicker. Hopefully we should have some sunny weather soon and I'll be able to get a bit more of a test in the sun than we have in this sort of weather.